1. Vancouver Canucks, former Stanley Cup champs potential return to the NHL. 2. Evgeny Kuznetsov's NHL return, willing to take bonus-laden contract. 3. NHL rumors. Summer trade activity slows down as teams wait for late summer moves. 1. Vancouver Canucks, former Stanley Cup champs potential return to the NHL. A former Stanley Cup champion is setting his sights on a significant return to the NHL, and the Vancouver Canucks might just be the perfect fit for him. The Vancouver Canucks are actively seeking assistance in the center position this summer, especially after missing out on key targets during the initial week of the free agency period. Notably, Christian Dvorak and Michael Granlund have already signed with the Philadelphia Flyers and Anaheim Ducks, respectively, leaving the Canucks in need of a reliable center. While the free agent market for centermen is somewhat limited, there is one particularly compelling option available: a player who has first-hand experience in winning a championship. Earlier this summer, Daria Toboltsev from RG Media reported that Evgeny Kuznetsov, a former NHL forward and 2018 Stanley Cup champion, is looking to make a comeback in North America. His agent revealed that as many as 10 teams have expressed interest in him. In my opinion, there are around 10 teams where Kuznetsov could be a valuable addition, given that there is both roster space and salary cap flexibility. We should have more clarity in a couple of weeks, Kuznetsov's agent, Shumi Babiv, stated to RG Media at the end of June. As of July 17th, the 33-year-old Kuznetsov remains an unrestricted free agent, despite his agent's expectations for a resolution regarding his future in the 2025-26 season. In a recent episode of the Hello Hockey podcast, NHL insider David Pagnotta mentioned that Kuznetsov is open to accepting a lower salary in the range of $1 to $2 million, plus performance bonuses, just to return to the league. David Pagnotta, regarding Evgeny Kuznetsov, he's willing to take $1 million or $2 million plus incentives for a contender looking to strengthen their roster, the NHL rumor report noted on X. Kuznetsov, hailing from Chelyabinsk, Russia, departed North America last summer to sign a 4-year contract with KHL team SKA St. Petersburg. During his time there, he found success playing alongside Montreal Canadiens' top prospect, Ivan Demidov. In 39 regular season games with SKA St. Petersburg, Kuznetsov tallied 37 points, 12 goals, and 25 assists, accumulated 38 penalty minutes, and maintained a +13 rating. Following SKA's early exit from the Gagarin Cup playoffs, Kuznetsov and the team mutually agreed to terminate the remaining 3 years of his contract, making him a free agent not only in North America, but also in the KHL. If Kuznetsov is indeed willing to sign for the modest salary suggested by David Pagnotta, the Vancouver Canucks should seize this opportunity. Even if it's just a short-term deal spanning 1 to 2 years, he could effectively fill their second center position, allowing Philip Chytil to move down to the third line. In a recent poll on Canucks Daily, fans were asked whether the Vancouver Canucks should pursue Evgeny Kuznetsov this summer. What do you think? Should the Canucks take a chance on this Stanley Cup champion? Yes. No. 2. Evgeny Kuznetsov's NHL return, willing to take bonus-laden contract. Evgeny Kuznetsov, once a dazzling star in the NHL, is now willing to bet on himself with a contract structure that could be a win-win for both him and a potential team. But is this a sign of desperation, or a calculated move by a player determined to prove he still belongs at the highest level? According to David Pagnotta of the Fourth Period, as discussed on the Hello Hockey podcast with Sean Bell and Tom Gotsola, Kuznetsov is prepared to accept a lower base salary, supplemented by performance-based bonuses, to facilitate his return to North American ice. For those unfamiliar, performance bonuses are extra incentives written into a player's contract. They're essentially rewards for achieving specific milestones, like scoring a certain number of goals, playing a certain number of games, or even winning individual awards. This kind of contract minimizes the initial risk for the team, as they only pay out the extra money if Kuznetsov performs well. It also motivates the player to exceed expectations. It wasn't that long ago that Kuznetsov was considered an elite offensive talent. During the 2021-22 season with the Washington Capitals, he was a point-per-game player, racking up an impressive 78 points, 24 goals, and 54 assists in 79 games, boasting a solid +7+- rating and averaging over 20 minutes of ice time each night, 2017 to be exact. He was a key cog in the Capitals' offensive machine. But here's where it gets controversial. His production took a noticeable dip the following season. While 55 points, 12 goals, and 43 assists in 81 games during the 2022-23 season isn't terrible for a second-line center, it was a significant drop-off from his previous year's performance. His plus-minus plummeted to -26, and his ice time decreased to 18:04. Some might argue that this was simply a temporary slump, while others might point to deeper issues affecting his game. Unfortunately, things spiraled downward in the 2023-24 season. Kuznetsov struggled mightily in Washington, managing only 17 points, 6 goals, and 11 assists in 43 games with a -11 rating. Following a month-long stint in the NHL Player Assistance Program, the Capitals placed him on waivers. After clearing waivers, he was assigned to their AHL affiliate, the Hershey Bears. This marked a low point in his career, a stark contrast to his earlier success. His tenure with the Capitals effectively ended in late January 2024. At the trade deadline, Washington traded Kuznetsov to the Carolina Hurricanes in exchange for a mid-round draft pick. He finished the season with a modest 7 points, 2 goals, and 5 assists in 20 games for Carolina, adding another 6 points, 4 goals, and 2 assists in 10 playoff games. Carolina, however, wasn't interested in keeping him around for the 2024-25 season. They placed him on unconditional waivers for the purpose of terminating his contract, allowing Kuznetsov to return to his native Russia and continue his career there. Shortly thereafter, he signed a 4-year deal with SK St. Petersburg of the KHL, Continental Hockey League. And this is the part most people miss. After a year in the KHL, Kuznetsov seems determined to give the NHL another shot. He had a productive season with St. Petersburg, scoring 37 points, 12 goals, and 25 assists in 39 games with a +13 rating. This suggests that he may have rediscovered some of his offensive touch. In April, Kuznetsov and SK mutually agreed to terminate his contract, paving the way for his potential NHL return. Despite some speculation, it appears the Montreal Canadiens are not interested in pursuing Kuznetsov this offseason, especially after signing Joe Veleno to bolster their center depth. Furthermore, reports indicate that a reunion with the Washington Capitals is not in the cards. So where could Kuznetsov potentially land? Assuming he's willing to accept a bottom-six role, several teams could benefit from his experience and potential offensive upside. After a quick look at projected rosters for the 2025-26 season, teams like the Colorado Avalanche, Nashville Predators, New York Rangers, Ottawa Senators, Philadelphia Flyers, and Pittsburgh Penguins could all use additional depth, particularly at the center position. These teams might see Kuznetsov as a low-risk, high-reward option. Ultimately, Kuznetsov's NHL future hinges on his willingness to accept a bonus-laden contract and prove that he can still contribute at a high level. But here's the big question: which team will take a chance on him? And more importantly, can he recapture the magic that once made him one of the league's most exciting players? What do you think? Is Kuznetsov worth the risk, or has his time in the NHL passed him by? Share your thoughts in the comments below. 3. NHL rumors. Summer trade activity slows down as teams wait for late summer moves. The NHL trade scene is about to hit a slow patch, but why should you care? As the summer months approach, hockey fans might find themselves wondering about the state of NHL trades. Historically, this time of year tends to see a significant drop in trade activity, and this summer appears to be no different. Jim Berenger, a contributor to NHLRumors.com, Full Press Hockey, and RG Media, recently shared his insights during a segment on TSN Radio in Montreal, where he addressed the anticipated trade buzz that many insiders and agents have been hinting at. During the discussion, the host expressed concerns about the quieter months of July and August, questioning how they would fill their hockey-focused programming during this lull. With a keen eye on social media, the host noted that numerous insiders, and even some general managers, have been suggesting that a flurry of trades is on the horizon. But is there any truth to these claims? Berenger responded with a healthy dose of skepticism, stating, "I'll believe it when I see it." He recalled a piece of advice from his uncle, emphasizing that while he expects a temporary slowdown, he anticipates some trade activity to ramp up towards the end of July or early August. He pointed out that many teams are actively seeking to bolster their rosters, particularly in search of second-line centers and top-six forwards. However, the question remains, who is willing to part with valuable assets to acquire these sought-after players? Berenger suggested that we might experience a brief period of calm before the trade winds pick up again. He reflected on past drafts where excitement was high, only for the actual trades to fall flat after initial expectations. For instance, while the trade of Noah Dobson to Montreal was a significant move, it was followed by a series of underwhelming transactions. As the summer progresses, the anticipation builds around which teams will be bold enough to make significant trades. Notably, there has been a lot of chatter surrounding players like Patrick Lane and the Montreal Canadiens, as well as other notable names like Mitch Marner and K'Andre Miller, who have been involved in recent sign-and-trade discussions. Yet, despite the buzz, substantial moves have yet to materialize. While a few minor trades have occurred, such as Matt Dumba's departure from Dallas to create cap space, the more significant trades involving players like Jordan Kyrou, Erik Karlsson, Brian Rust, and Rickard Rakell remain unfulfilled. As we look ahead, it will be intriguing to see if teams are willing to meet the high demands for these players. For now, it seems we are in for a quieter period until the summer heats up again. What do you think? Are you buying into the hype of a busy trade season, or do you believe we'll see more of the same quiet summer? Share your thoughts in the comments below.